Good evening, everybody. It's April 15th. This is Wednesday night Bible study. I try to keep these videos as short as I can because of the uploading time and whatnot. But we're still in Exodus, and we're going to be in chapter 8 tonight. While you turn in there, just want to remind everybody, as always, please continue to pray. Pray for our government officials. Pray for the president, our governor, our school boards, all this is going on, our healthcare professionals, those that are on the front line. Pray for them, pray for each other, lift each other up. I still see everybody posting on our group chats and everything and praising each other and praying for each other and lifting each other up, and that is just great, and it's a blessing to me. This is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, and that is not be able to be with my congregation or see y'all's faces at church. And be honest with you, preaching to a phone is getting old, but hopefully this will get settled pretty soon, hopefully in the next week or two, and we can get back together in some sense of normalcy and just continue to worship the Lord. But as always, if y'all need anything, please call. So anyway, Exodus chapter 8. Last week we talked about the plague, the first plague, turning the Nile and all the streams into blood, or what some scientists say appeared to be blood. If you think about the plagues as a lot of natural disasters in order, they kind of fit like the Lord created them at His time. Some Christian scientists believe that when the water turned to blood, or the appearance of blood, that it could have been this huge surge of red algae coming from Ethiopia or somewhere into Egypt. The Nile is one of the few rivers in the world that flow north. It flows from south to north, so it would be coming up out of Ethiopia into Egypt like that. So think about that. Last week we talked about the first plague, where the water turned to blood and killed all the fish. And that's one of the great livelihoods of the Egyptians. But Pharaoh hardened his heart, would not let his people go. So in chapter 8, there's a new plague coming, and I dearly wish we were at church tonight, because we could really pick with Paige about this one. So calling her out tonight. Chapter 8, frogs over the land. It says, Then the Lord said to Moses, Go to Pharaoh and say to him, Thus says the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. But if you refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite your whole territory with frogs. So the frog to the Egyptians served all these different types of gods. And the frog was a representative of a god of fertility, a goddess of fertility. And the spelling of that is Heqt. Now, I'm going to let you decide how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try it. But that was the goddess that helped women with childbearing, and how they got that associated with frogs, I don't know. But anyway, there it is. So the Lord said that I will smite your land with frogs. So verse 4, So the frogs will come up on you and your people and all your servants. Then the Lord said to Moses, Say to Aaron, Stretch out your hand with your staff over the rivers, over the streams, and over the pools, and make frogs come up on the land of Egypt. So Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. So the magicians did the same with secret arts, making frogs come up on the land of Egypt. So you got these magicians, and they're pretty good. We've got our magicians that do stuff that we think are miracles or whatever. David Copperfield, Chris Angel, a bunch of illusionists. And that's what these magicians are. They're illusionists. And they're trying to convince Pharaoh, these guys, they're not doing, there's nothing to what they're doing. But think about it. They're doing these on a minute scale. They're bringing up a handful of frogs. Probably have somebody hid, behind the screen, smoke and mirrors kind of thing, whatever. And God is using Moses and Aaron, and they are bringing frogs throughout the land. So let's think about what's going on so far. The Nile is full of blood, or red algae, whatever. It's like blood. The fish are dead. dead fish, stinks, terrible. So all these frogs are coming up out of the streams, right? They're going everywhere. And listen to where they go. It says, verse 8, then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he may remove the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go. They will make sacrifice to the Lord. Hold on just a second. Trying to find where the verse is, where it talks about it. Oh, here we go. Verse 3 says, the Nile will swarm with frogs, which will come up and go into your house and into your bedroom, on your bed, into the houses of your servants, on your people, and into your ovens and into your kneading bowls. Can you imagine trying to cook and there's frogs jumping into the bowls as you were stirring or whatnot? And in your kitchen, you open your oven and there's frogs. You open your pantry, there's frogs. You open your flour bowl, there's frogs. There's frogs everywhere. So Moses asked the magician, Pharaoh asked the magicians, could they do that? They could. And on a very, very small scale, but he's like, hey, they can do it too, so I'm not paying attention to you. But he did ask Moses in verse 8. It says, then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he will remove the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may sacrifice to the Lord. So, hey, that's what we want, right? Pharaoh says, hey, if you'll just get rid of these frogs, I'm going to let you take your people. You can go and worship any way you want to. I'm going to let them go. Verse 9, so Moses said to Pharaoh, the honor is yours to tell me when shall I entreat for your servants and your people that the frogs be destroyed from you and your house, that they may be left only in the Nile. Then Pharaoh said, tomorrow. So he said, may it be according to your word, so that you may know that there is no one like the Lord our God. So Pharaoh said, can you please ask the Lord to take these frogs away? And Moses said, well, when do you want them to go? And Pharaoh said, tomorrow. And Moses said, okay, but the honor is on you. You've said you're going to let the people go. I'm going to talk to the Lord, but it's your responsibility to follow through with what you have promised. All right, verse 11, the frogs will depart from you and your house and your servants and your people. They will be left only in the Nile. Then Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried to the Lord concerning the frogs which he had inflicted upon Pharaoh. The Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, the courts, and the fields. So they piled them in heaps, and the land became foul. So all the frogs died. So yes, they're in your cupboard, they're in your flour bowls, they're in your ovens, they're everywhere you look, and they just died. So there's miracles happening everywhere. Gross, nasty miracles, yes, but miracles still the same. It's a plague on Egypt. God is showing the Egyptians who he is. And remember, the Israelites are still there. So they're seeing all this too. They're seeing the strength and the power of God Almighty and in these plagues of how he is fighting the battles for them. Remember that, because in a few weeks, we're going to go through stuff that I think is astounding that the Israelites did. And so we'll get there in a little while. So all these frogs are dead, and they threw them. They put them in baskets or whatever they could, and toted them out to the edge of the towns or in the fields, and they dumped them. All right, let's think about what's going on in Egypt right now. The Nile is dead. They can't fish it. There's dead fish floating in the Nile. It's been there for days. Who knows how long? Stinking, nasty. All right, now we have frogs piled up. Terrible smell, terrible stench. They've been plagued in their houses. Can you just paint the picture of what's going on? Pharaoh has said, I'm going to let them go. I'm letting your people go. They're going to be able to go and worship. Just get rid of these frogs. Chapter 8, verse 15. But when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart and did not listen to them as the Lord had said. So he has seen both of these great miracles. He promised the Lord, promised Moses, hey, just get rid of these and I'll let them go. And he's gone back on his word. And we're going to stop there tonight. We're going to see what happens next week or in the next and starting in chapter 16. Verse 16. I'm sorry. But anyway, like I say, trying to keep these videos a little bit short. Hey, if y'all got questions, I know a few of you have been messaging me questions and stuff that you have in the Bible and whatnot. I would love to talk about the Bible and questions and dig in and try to find answers and whatnot. So if y'all have questions, please message me. I've got my number. We got Messenger or whatnot. Continue to pray for each other. I wish we could be together, but we can't right now. Miss y'all. I love being able to sit there and communicate, go back and forth, and talk about these and discuss these things real time when we're there and it's fresh on your mind. Sorry we can't do that, but like I say, modern technology is a wonderful thing. I never thought I'd be sending these out through the airwaves and whatnot. And like I say, preaching to a phone is kind of weird, but we're suffering through it. Please lift each other up. Those that are in prayer. If you have prayer requests, please message them to me. And again, we had a prayer today. I'm sending it out on Messenger. Our association had a prayer time today at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. It was actually 8 o'clock this morning, 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. But hey, we don't have to designate a day of prayer. We can pray anytime. And if pray for those that had all this devastation this week, record tornadoes in Mississippi. Terrible, terrible situations, loss of life, loss of property. Pray for those. Pray for those that are impacted by that. Pray for those that are helping, the first responders, those that are helping clear the land. That's dangerous. Clearing those houses and everything are dangerous. Pray for them. Pray for those that have this virus. Pray that it'll end. But also pray that God will be glorified. He has a plan. A lot of times we don't understand his plan. We question a lot. But hey, in the end, we'll find out. And I just hope when this is over with that it'll be a glory to God. Love y'all. Miss y'all. If you need me, please call.